Well, hello and welcome to my FlossTube channel. I'm Farish, and I am on the road to Nashville, Tennessee for the big cross-stitch market. Now, for those of you who are not aware, once a year, needlework designers, publishers, shop owners, people that work behind the scenes in the industry that you love get together and spend a weekend schmoozing and shopping for the delightful things that you will then find in many of the shops in the United States and even in other countries. So I'm going to be making this video in little pieces. Today is Thursday and I am about a third of the way from my home in North Carolina on my way to Nashville. Now for me, this is an absolutely gorgeous drive through the mountains, and spring is beginning to show its beauty here and there. Lots of daffodils, a few early bloomers are showing their stuff, and I'm hoping to intersperse this with some views of the beauty of both North Carolina and Tennessee as I go along. But let me start by again explaining this market a little bit, because I know you've been hearing a lot about it on social media. This is what we refer to as a wholesale show. A person cannot just go in and shop unless they have a wholesale account with the various vendors. The vendors are going to be fabric producers, needlework designers, distributors, all those wonderfully creative people who make needle minders and all the various stuff that we love so much that goes along with this craft that we love. And then of course, next week when all these shop owners get home, many of them plan incredible celebrations in a way to bring all these this really cool stuff to you. So I am happy to take you along as I make this journey and share some of the sights and sounds of the Nashville needlework market. Okay, let me introduce you to Dana.
Oh, hello.
So tell us a little bit about Valdani Threads.
Well, our threads are manufactured in my homeland, Romania, and this is the only thread on the market which is hand-dyed and absolutely color fast in all the colors. People love our threads, so we are thrilled to manufacture them, and we work with many designers worldwide, so we are happy to have this business and to make people enjoy our threads and be happy when stitching with them.
Great, and we get to make beautiful things.
You get to make beautiful, beautiful things.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So here I am with Kathleen Littleton with Cross Stitch Antiques.
Yes.
And she has gorgeous, gorgeous samplers. So
Thank you.
Tell us, do you have a favorite?
No.
I told her I wasn't going to tell her ahead of time what I was going to ask her.
A favorite friend. These young girls become my friends. I get to know them very well by reproducing their samplers from the 1800s. So this year I have 4 Irish girls that came with me to market.
Ooh.
And these are the 4 Irish samplers. They're mostly Quaker. This middle one is actually my own design based on the Irish lettering. And we have done a lot of research about Irish samplers. They're not that popular or out there in the market yet, so we're going to make that change happen. And then we have a couple of English girls that came to market, including this one, which is from England, Annie Matilda Moss. And what's interesting about her is her motifs are very common as well to Bristol orphanage samplers, which are also a very strong interest of mine. And I actually have a Prince Albert exhibition booklet, which I reproduce every page of for market. All 16 plates are available, and this is the booklet that they used to create Bristol Orphanage Samplers, one of the sources.
Yeah, that's a question a lot of people ask is, you know, back in the day, where did these girls get the lettering and the motifs and whatnot?
So this came out in 1850s. There were other pattern booklets like that in England and Germany and France. So that was many times the source of what the teacher would use to create her model, and then the students would model the headmistress's sampler. So that was one source, is the pattern booklets, which are very rare and paper and flimsy.
Wow.
And then we have one of my oldest samplers here today in my collection. Is from 1764. And that's Sarah Welch. She's a very old English band sampler.
So this is the original.
Yes.
Wow.
She was reproduced using the overdyed cottons.
Wow.
And then up here, we have Oh Sweet Humility. She came out last year at Market. And since then, we were able to find out more about her thanks to Vicki Jennett from Needlework Press, who just came out with her Charlotte Warrington. Look at the similarities. So
Wow.
Charlotte, it turns out, and Eliza only lived 3 miles away. They stitched their samplers 3 years apart, and it just gives me a thrill because Vicki and I are friends, and now we have Eliza and Charlotte reunited in today's world.
Oh
So,
my
and
gosh,
you can stitch their
that
samplers.
is an amazing
I mean,
story.
that's what gives me such a thrill.
Wow.
Yeah.
And well, it should.
And then behind us are the last of my releases. We have a very rare Canadian sampler, which is not very popular in the market yet. Canadian samplers are kind of scarce. This one's right over the border of United States in New York and Vermont.
I
And
have to
she's
wonder
gorgeous.
if the girl who stitched this, she may have been in Canada, but I'm wondering if she was Scottish.
It's possible actually because these trees are very similar to the trees you find on Scottish
Well,
samplers.
and I'm going to show you in a moment my Janet Irving sampler. That's the exact border.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So this poor girl, she stitched her sampler when she was 11. I found her. By the time she was 14, she was no longer with us. She had passed away.
Oh my goodness.
But we have her sampler. And then the rest of my new releases over here are Quakers. This is Anne Hunt. She is very similar to the samplers that Beatrix Potter collected. If you've ever seen the Beatrix Potter sampler or the companion to Beatrix Potter, it's the exact same alternating medallion half border, and that's a beautiful Quaker. Then we also have a couple
Oh,
other.
yeah, I see what you mean in the border.
Yeah, it's reversing every other one. And this is the antique, which is
Right.
very frail. The fabric is very brittle. And then the other three Quakers are over here. We have Sir Island Quaker, which is possibly from Ireland with the SI, but we can just take a guess at that. Again, you can see those half medallions. And then Lydia Mendenhall in the center there, she's a Pennsylvania Quaker with a lot of specialty stitches. And she's also a beautiful sampler. And then AB 1816 with the reproduction here in the front and the antique in the back. And she again is just a beautiful example of a motifs of the Quakers which honor nature and simplicity. This one came out in the fall. It's called the Seashell Sampler. It's from 1819. So that's the antique, and I converted all of that freehand embroidery to cross stitch in my chart and model. So I guess you can say I don't have a favorite, they're all my friends, okay? So, and we make a lot of new friends here at Market. And it's my first time meeting Jean, so thank you so much, Jean, for visiting my shop.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'll tell you ahead of time. Look who I ran into.
Hey everybody.
You all know Michelle Bendy Stitchy.
We've met.
Yes. Okay, so tell us about your wonderful designs here.
Okay, so 4 new ones for Market this year. This is Needle Heathen Biscornu, and I'm so sorry to Jean, but this is for people who don't pay attention to what size needle they're using. So you have the option to put your size in, or you just don't know.
There you go.
So the Biscornu.
I love it.
It's me, I'm the heathen. And then Rappaccini's Quaker. All
Wait.
poison plants.
Let's hold it
What
over,
do I need?
the,
Over
the,
here?
the lights.
The light's bad.
Yeah.
All poison plants. This has a lot of French knots, and I recommend you can use beads, but I also recommend to learn to love French knots.
Well, and also
Because-
colonial knots.
Colonial knot, absolutely, you can substitute them. You'll get the same effect, but highly encouraged. And then this is Pocketbook Peacocks. It's based on an antique purse that I have in my collection, and rather than reproduce the entire thing, we just took a couple of the birds out and made it finishable. A finishable size is what we like.
Well, and what an interesting way that so that's like a flat fold technique, and then you added the cutouts of the embroidered
and
flower.
the embroidered flowers you can actually find. It's a ribbon, a spool of ribbon that I found at Joann Fabrics. And my daughter picked it out, and she said, Mom, you have to use all of this on the finish. So that's why it's a little extra.
That's okay,
Extra.
but yeah, well, who knew?
And then last but not least, and this is a good one for cruisers, Pirate Quaker. So everybody loves a Quaker. I love a Quaker. This is the sulky colorway. And then down below, we have the Cottage Garden Threads colorway because I couldn't decide. So you can have both in one pattern.
And I recognize this one.
Yes, everyone. This is from FlossTube at Sea. So Jessie at Miss Lay Pages designed that for us for FlossTube at Sea. It's in Cosmo on their fabric. And then Spring's Promise has been a big hit. This is a Dinky Dyes Silks chart with the 2 swans. So
Nice.
all the market stuff.
Well, it's always exciting to come to market, isn't it?
I love market so much. It's new charts, seeing things in person, and seeing all the people. So many good people here. Yeah.
That's great. And you're sharing a booth.
I'm sharing. Let me introduce you to
With-
Holly of Stitchy
Let's meet
Pros.
Molly.
Hi everybody, I'm Holly from Stitchy Pros and I'm excited to be talking to you. I have 5 new pattern releases for market. The first one I'll talk about is here. It's these cute little Easter puns. They come together as a set in one chart. And the finishing is with Lady Dot Creates pom-pom trim and the velveteen. Okay, next for market is a piece called Cardinal's Promise. It has, it uses a Cottage Garden Threads pack, and it's one of my first times working with Cottage Garden Threads. And we made an accompanying needle minder and thread keep that says always here with you. Next for market is the Blooming Forever bell pull in the corner here. And it has, it says, in the garden of time, our bond will never sever, mother-daughter love blooming forever. This is a piece that I was inspired to create by my little one that's 17 months old. And it has an accompanying bell pull hanger that has carnations on it. My surprise release for Nashville Needlework Market that was not in my pre-order email to the shops is a piece called Tiptoe. And I went to the Netherlands for my honeymoon, and I wanted something that had tulips and was representative of that trip in springtime. So it was a nice little treat for the shops. And last but not least is Outnumber the Shamrocks. Here is an Irish blessing that says, may your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow, and may trouble avoid you wherever you go. And that uses Cottage Garden Threads as well, and has a cute little shamrock needle minder.
Wonderful. Well, people are always curious about where designers get their inspiration, so we can tell that family is a big inspiration for you.
Absolutely. Family and personal experiences really drive my my creativity. Like I've got a couple of my previous releases here. These 3 samplers, the Summertime Sunshine sampler, the Forever Timeless Morning sampler, and the Honey Craftsman sampler are actually samplers created based off of pieces of prose and poetry that I've written.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what's this thing that back here looks like a...
Oh, so we also do some custom work for shops. My husband does some lasering to create things like needle minders and corner gauges. And
yeah.
So the thing in the corner there is a guide that the shops can see. We can do multiple colors for them.
And these are the sort of things that you make.
Yes.
Well, I know I've been to the Stitching Kitten.
Yeah, they're maybe 2 hours from us because we live in South Carolina.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm in North Carolina.
Are you really?
Yeah, we're practically neighbors.
Yeah.
How about that? Well, it's nice to meet you.
It's so
I'm
nice
sure
to
our
meet
paths
you.
will cross again.
Absolutely.
Fox and Rabbit, all the way from Australia.
Hi.
Hello.
So tell us about your show and what you've got going on and what's new and what's exciting.
Well, the show's been amazing. We actually sold out in an hour 45.
Hour 45.
So it was a bit scary. We got here and we had a line of about 70 or 80 people out the front.
And they'd been there for 2 hours, queuing up for 2 hours.
That's because we love your fabric. That's for sure.
But
So-
we've got a whole lot of new charts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are your designs,
Yes.
right, Karen?
Yes, there are my designs. This is Wilhelmina. This is the exclusive we did for Yarn Tree. But so we have the model in our room, but the shop's buy it from Yarn Tree. This is Dreaming of Daisies. This is one of my originals. This is on our saltbush. The one, the one next to it
Is she camera shy or what?
I am
A
a
little
bit.
bit, yeah.
This one here is Where There Are Bees, There Are Flowers. It's our Nashville exclusive. It's also on saltbush.
Oh wait, I got the wrong. What? That's this
here.
one. This one,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
That's
see.
Where
the-
There Are Bees, There Are Flowers. Our lovely friend
exciting.
Linda finished that for me with a day to go before we had to ship it. So I
Oh my
owe her
goodness.
big time. Now I started many years ago with our insect series. We did honeymakers, which were the bees, and we had our butterflies, our dragonflies, our ladybugs, which I've got one over there, and this is our new one. This is the lunar moths. So we've got, so I always do a round one and then a little queen. So this is Queen of the Night. It's on our black swan, and this one's called They Come at Night.
Oh, that's
And then
gorgeous.
across
Very
here-
dramatic.
Yes, and then across here, our other two. This has been our bestseller at market, closely followed by the lunar moths. This is Anne Harper, and this is the Anne Harper pin drum and accessories. This, I'm not doing as many reproductions anymore. I tend to be taking reproductions, taking the elements I like out of it, designing my own elements, and then rearranging everything. So it's sort of like a hybrid, and it seems to be working really well
Yeah.
for us. So-
Yeah, it's nice when you take the old ones and inspire it and
and then make it my
make
own.
it new. Yeah.
And
And fix up the mistakes.
yeah.
Yeah,
The poor little tech
including
jobs.
the mistakes.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
fix them up. So where
And
they
then-
where they miss their border or they
Yeah.
they start stitching into the border.
And
Well,
then,
well, in
we've got-
many ways, though, it's also recreating the sampler experience. 'Cause,
Well, that's exactly right.
That's what these young girls did. Was they
That's right.
had these different elements and they
they
put
made
them
their
together the way they
samplers.
wanted to put them together.
Yep. And then we had our two new releases with our linen. We don't have any linen, obviously, but we do have some of the designer packs. We take this around to the designers at market to use, possibly for the designs.
So there are two new colours: Inca, which is like an old gold colour, and then Dust Bunny, which looks like what's under your
These
bed.
are the ones you have new colors, but you don't have any of these left.
No,
No, but
these
for
are
the
what.
first 2 weeks when we get home, Bren will be doing nothing but these and getting them out for all the people who ordered them. We said we'll drop everything else, get these out, and these will only be available to the shops attending market until May, and then it'll be a general release.
You know, there's an old saying, "No rest for the weary," and
No.
I think that applies to the two of you.
We get home on the 14th, so we've got a week and a half, and we're going up to Keepsakes for a meet and greet on Wednesday, but the rest of the time we're having holiday before we get home on the Thursday, and then
Right.
we will have 3 days rest, and then it's all back to work on the Monday. The good news is I've had a knee replacement, and I've been off for months, so Brendan's been flying solo, but I'm back to work now full time, so we'll start catching up on all of our regular orders as well.
Yeah.
Your aim is to get everything out to about 2 months.
Yep.
Well, if there's any good news with a knee replacement, not only will you be better off when you're all done, but you have all that stitching time while you're recovering.
Well, I did design a lot. So I wasn't not working. I just wasn't up there helping him at the studio. So yeah, I've got a lot. I've designed a lot now. We're teaching at 4 retreats this year. They're all done. They've got to go off to the model stitches, but I've got lots done in advance. So that was one good thing.
And in September 2025,
Yes.
you're going to be doing a cruise with me.
We are, we
And
are.
registration for that opens soon.
Yes.
2 weeks from when we're standing here talking, but
Wow.
it'll be less than that by the time I get this video up.
Yeah,
We are very, very excited.
because we've never been to either Canada where we're starting from,
Yeah.
or Alaska. So
And I have 10 more states to tick off the states I haven't visited. And I always thought that Alaska would be the last one because I thought, how do we get to Alaska? And now we are going to Alaska.
Well, if you have been to 40 states, you've been to
Yes.
more than most Americans.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Bren's been to 39 because he hasn't done Hawaii, but that will be rectified at some point soon, I think. But we've got a couple of clusters. We've got like Montana, Wyoming,
Yeah, that bit in the
Utah, Idaho, and Colorado. So we hopefully can do that in a group one day. And little things like we've done North Dakota, we haven't done South Dakota. We haven't done Michigan. So we've got to and we haven't done Washington, DC. I think that's it. We've done all the rest.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
how
haven't
about
seen a
that?
state yet we haven't liked, so.
Okay, now let's talk about these things that are over here.
Yeah. Well, actually, this one here's not ours, but this is Stitchy Pros, who are our neighbours. But what she's done is she stitched on our Mayflower. So, yes. And what she's done, this is incredible. We thought that she'd stitched 2 models, but this is actually a high-resolution copy. And you wouldn't know that wasn't stitched.
Oh my goodness.
So we've just got that there so people, and we brought some Mayflower with us, and it's sold out now, but this was stitched on Mayflower. But these are a couple of previous designs. I'll just take that one off there. So these were ones we did last year, but they're returning from a trunk show, so we're taking them home. This is Elizabeth Campbell. Again, my own hybrid of an original, an antique, but I took elements, changed them. Yeah. This is an exclusive we did a year ago, but it's now a general release. This is Elizabeth Broadhead, and this is a reproduction, and it's a sample we actually found at a little museum in Australia, squeezed into a back room, tiniest town you've ever seen, and we paid for the rights to reproduce it. So we think she's Australian. And if she wasn't an Australian sampler, she was brought over from England, but we think she's Australian. We've got to research more on her.
Wow.
But you wouldn't believe it. It was water stained in a back corner. It was the little museum was mostly farming equipment and things, and we found it around the corner, pushed out of sight. If I could have done anything to buy it, I would have. But it was a family piece. No one knew who owned it, but we did pay for the rights to it. So
yeah.
And this little one's name escapes me. I think it's called Under the Sheltering Tree, I think it is. This was a little one from last year.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I like to use Lady Dot trims. Lady Dot creates trims on a lot of my finishes. I do a lot of finishing. I love finishing, and her trims are sensational. In fact, I've just been up and got a massive big bag full of her trims to use on future designs. Yeah. This is a very messy desk. But some of the designers who use our linen kindly dropped off their charts, which is always a bonus. So Heart and Hand just thrust those into my hand, and I'm thrilled to bits. I said, it feels like Christmas. This is another one. This is the last one before the Lunar Moth. This is called Ladies Who Lunch. It also has a little one, but we don't have that here. This is called Dot's Sampler. A very, very kind friend of ours, Dorothy. She has an amazing sampler collection, and she loans us hers to reproduce, and she's so very kind. She's down in Victoria, and so I called it. It doesn't have a name because it's Dutch, so it only has initials, so we called it Dorothy's Sampler. Oh. And it's very rare I change a Dutch sampler because I love Dutch samplers, so I tend to do them as they are. Yeah. And the last one that we've got here, this is one of my favourites, and this is a reproduction. This is called Hannah Dawson. And I love this one. And that's on our paperback. As is that.
Now, do you know the heritage of this?
No, we haven't been able to find much about this one, but I think, Bren, you're researching it now.
Well, this is really strange because this is now the second time I've seen this border today.
Really?
In an antique.
Really?
And it's identical to my Janet Irving sampler, which I published in 1981.
Oh, my gosh.
And Janet Irving was the 3 times great-grandmother of my children. So I need to tell you that story too.
Yeah, so Brent's research. So this is 1831.
I would guess that it's got a Scottish
background. I hope so, because your favourite thing is you and Linda Vincent love your Scottish samplers, don't you?
We're researching and trying to work it out, but we've got 3 different possibilities for who it could be.
Yeah.
So we're trying to see if we can tie it back.
Yeah.
Through some sort of family connection or something at the
That's
moment.
Right,
unfortunately, when they have common names on Ancestry, when you're getting on there and having a look around and all those sites,
and
sometimes you can just never work it out.
And sometimes you think you're great because it's a really unusual name, so you think we'll find her. And it's amazing how many times you don't. You think there's that actual surname. There's 2 of them, and you don't know which one. So sometimes you have to take an educated guess. But where I was really happy, many years ago, a company called Needlepoint used to do Ackworth samplers, and they were around for a limited time. I loved and bought the Sarah Moon one, and don't know why, of all their beautiful Quakers, that one just spoke to me. And then my Uncle Chris my dad's English, and my Uncle Chris was doing their family tree starting in England, went back centuries and centuries. He'd been doing it for, I think, like 40 years. So he finally went back as far as he could possibly go, and he gave us all a big copy of it. And I was flipping through it and finding out where everything was. And suddenly I saw this little village, and my fourth grade grandmother was a Sarah Moon. I said, oh, isn't that a funny coincidence? It's the same name as my Quaker sampler that I have. And then I looked, and they didn't have a lot of history on her, but I thought, I think that's the same town. So I went, remember I was trying to find the family tree. I said, oh my gosh, she's in the same, she is my fourth great grandmother.
Oh my God.
I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it. So I think that's amazing. Of all those beautiful aquas, the Beatrix Potter one, all of those, that was the one I liked. Isn't that a bizarre thing? So yeah, and I've got more information on her than they did. So when we go to England, I like to look up
But
the
you
aquas.
shared it back with them.
Yeah, I did. I sent it. Yeah. Unfortunately, needleprint. But needleprint then sold the rights to them to Stitchy Box. Stitchy Box, I think. So you can now get I can get a PDF, but I'm lucky to have the booklet. So, which I then misplaced. Couldn't find the original booklet, and a lady kindly sent me that. People are so kind in this industry. I was blown away, and she sent me her original booklet, and she said, look, you can have it, it's your grandmother. I was like, oh my gosh. People in this industry are incredibly kind.
Well, it was great to catch up
Yes,
with you, and
we
I'll
can't
actually be
wait.
seeing you on our June cruise.
Yeah, I was just about to say, before Alaska, we've
yeah.
got the June cruise,
Yeah.
which we're
It's going to
actually...
be fabulous.
Yeah, we're just attending
It's
it.
gonna be
We're
fun.
thrilled
Yeah.
because Vicky Jeddett's our dear friend, and she's teaching, so we're in her classes.
Yeah.
And Brendan's going to see the Loch Ness Monster again. So that's going to be a thrill too.
Hopefully she'll
All right.
turn up this time
We
for
are
us.
so excited.
Sounds good. Okay.
Thanks, Jean.
Thanks. Great to catch up with you.
Bye.
Bye. I found in Nashville.
Hi guys.
So tell us what's new. What's
This
exciting?
is Romy's Creations.
Ah.
This is all my stuff, all my threads, all my colorful world. As you can see, I love colors.
And color loves you.
And this is my new stuff. This is sold out. This is what it's sold most. It's a beautiful day. My Halloween animal series. The new ones are the fox, the cat. This is Sharksoon. This is Foxy the Imposter, and this is Cattycorn. I have seasons in a snowman,
Look at this little snowman.
and then the other way I have needle books. New for market are the Hister one, and then we have this new is July 4th.
Wow.
Some patriotic stuff, some decorated pins. I do.
Now, I always find it interesting that you do this Americana stuff.
Because I love America. Because I love your country. I work a lot with American people, so
And America loves you.
thank you.
Fan and meet and meet one of the people I've been watching on FlossTube. So say hey to Chrissy.
Hi, everybody.
So you probably have answered this question before, but tell me about your company name. Why Finally a Farm Girl?
Okay, well, Finally a Farm Girl came because I had done many other stitching related red work, hand embroidery, and things like that. But at that point in time, I was almost 50 and I had always wanted a farm. So we had uprooted our family from South Florida and wanted to go a little bit north to Central Florida, one, to miss some hurricanes, because we wanted to get inland a bit, but at the same time we wanted to find some farm property. And I had just started Instagramming, didn't really understand it, and when I needed to come up with a name, my husband had said, since we finally were starting to farm, how about Finally a Farm Girl? So at 50 years old, I started farming, got 4 chickens and 4 goats, and that's where it all started.
Oh, that's great. I love that story. So, and again, probably other people, you've probably explained that before and it just went over my head. So, all kinds of clever stuff here. Wow. What would you like to...
I think if I were to share, I wasn't sure this is where I was going, but somewhere along the road, Matilda Mouse, I was going to a retreat, so she's this one here. I could put her, see if I could get her up in there. She was the very first one, and I wanted something to hang off my retreat bag.
Oh, what a great idea.
So I made her like that, added a little pin cushion, and jokingly on my floss tube said, poor thing isn't going to stay put now, if anybody thought they might like that, I wanted a little pillow to hang off of it. And the response was pretty overwhelming, so I went ahead and released her. And then shortly after came Matilda Sews, and Matilda just became a little bit of my hero. So that kind of led to Matilda's World and my Critter Corner. And from there, she just really took off. And I think she's just a fun stitch. She's a quick stitch. Maybe not everybody's a mouse lover, but I promise you she's sweet as punch. So she just kind of took off. And then that gave me an opportunity, I think, to learn some skills and then to move into some other areas. So.
Wow, I see you're using some variegated threads. They're always fun.
Yes, Witch Lillian is cranberry ice, and that's one of my favorite colors to use. Weeks Dye Works cranberry ice, and it makes her dress.
Yeah, sometimes you find just the right thread that finishes the expression that you've got in your head.
It does. So, and then my dad, he has an orange cat, and his name is Oscar, and he is a character. So somewhere along the line, I decided we needed to have an orange tabby cat. And so Oscar the cat is across the room. He was my very first one, and he was really popular. So then we wanted to introduce the mouse and the cat.
Cool. All right, and so he's over here.
Oscar the cat's up high. He was the very first one.
So there's Oscar.
And then we have Yankee Doodle Oscar that's next to him. So he's always up to something fun.
And Hog Heaven, now that sounds like fun.
That's after my pig from when we had the farm, Pumpkin.
Wow. Oh.
And then that's the Old Florida Sampler. And that came out this year. A friend of mine, her family, she's a native Floridian, Linda Newton, Stitchy Linda. And she remembers lots and lots of different farm memories from when she was with her grandmother on their farm in Ocala.
Wow. All right. Well, I know everybody who stitches is aware of Market, and they're always excited to see, what they have to look forward to when they get to their local needlework store.
Right.
So,
well, I hope that you all will enjoy the patterns, and stitching is to be fun, and it's to make your own. So stitch what you love.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
So now I'm heading home in the rain. It's still a beautiful part of our country to be driving through. Tennessee and North Carolina are just gorgeous, in my opinion. And of course, I have a special affinity for the North Carolina part of my trip since I'm heading home. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little recap of just little bits and pieces of what the Nashville market was like. Frankly, I didn't get a chance to make as many video clips as I wanted to, mainly because everybody was just so busy, which was good. When you are on the vendor side of a market, you're just anticipating a great show, but you really never know what it's going to be like until you're there. And we have to remember as consumers that this is the livelihood for these companies. And so the Nashville market is just a really important part of their year. I am taking a little bit of break right now on my drive home, and I will hope I get out of this rain pretty soon. Looking at the radar map, I think I've only got another hour or so of just wet weather. Anyway, wherever you are, I hope that you're stitch happy, stay safe, and I'll see you later.